All right, hopefully you guys can hear me well. Camera can't see me well though, so let's change this. There, that's a little better. All right, good morning, folks. So we are back. It's Friday. We made it. It seems like a long week. Holy man, the extra work involved with shooting online, planning, getting your quizzes ready, prepping everything. It's a lot more work than I expected it to be. It's a busy time, but we're all here. We all got the weekend off. We can sleep in. It's gonna be great. I know that's what I'm gonna be doing. So we're gonna try and keep this one a little shorter today. You know, class is gonna be a little shorter, so we're gonna keep this one a little shorter. So we're gonna switch out these glasses for some safety glasses, making sure we're following our daily PPE protocols. Um, Take my ring off. How to do that? I was gonna put it on my wrist strap today and just wear it. That way it's not on my finger, but I still have it closed. So yesterday we glued up with these panels here. I've got two panels. These are panel H. Panel H is for the armrests of the kitchen sippy chair. And what I'm going to do is, I haven't even touched this since yesterday. I just glued it up with you guys and I left it. So I am going to declamp this. We're going to start by taking the sticker boards off on the sides. These ones, what they did is they clamped our material and they helped keep things flat. So I might need these clamps, just set aside, them too far away. And we'll take a look at our end product. I think it's fairly flat. I put a couple extra boards on here. I chose not to. We will see what the outcome looks like. So today we are going to be scraping the excess glue off these boards, because yesterday when we did this on our joints that we had a little bit of squish up. And squish up is where you've got that film of glue between two pieces of wood, applying pressure, and that little bit of glue just shoots at the top and it dries on the top seam of your board. That isn't a big issue. I've got a method for taking care of that, and I'll show you guys that once we get these declamped. So just going to loosen these bar clamps up a little bit. I should be able to remove these panels from here. Your sticker boards stuck on. Next time, just take a tool, pop them off. If they're really stuck, you might have to give them a little tap with a hammer. But I don't go crazy. I don't beat on my material. It's off. We don't want to create any excess damage. So this one looks pretty good. And this one is decent as well. Now this one's got a lot of glue here. So, can you guys see that line? Yeah, it's showing up pretty good. You can see all those dimples of glue. You turn it sideways. If I get the right angle, kind of see all those little glue bumps there. So we need all those to come off of our wood. There is a way of doing that, and it's involving a glue scraper. So I'm going to clean up the table a little bit, get a space to work. Show you guys a glue scraper, how that works, and we're going to get rid of all this material here. We can't run this through a saw. Saw or a sander or anything, it's harder than the sanding material. Well, saw blades are harder than this, but saw blades aren't designed to cut hard materials like glue. Hard wood is fine, but glue is a chemical reaction. It's much harder than wood, and it will damage the knives or cutting surfaces inside of our tools. Think bigger planer and our jointer. We had an issue last week. I remember showing you guys some of that where we had damaged knives on the jointer, and then it created, or not the jointer, the planer, and it created a big ridge in our wood. We want to avoid that. It took about 3 hours to get those teeth out, turn them, clean everything up, reset them, and then get our boards cutting flat. So we're going to try and avoid that. This is a waste of time for everybody, but it does happen. We can fix it. I would rather avoid it happening though. these clamps out of the way, just over to a different table. We're going to work in front of the camera here, just to get some few things. And move this paper off the side temporarily. You don't need it, so I'll just stack it out of the way. Nice thing. It's done its job. I got a whole bunch of drops of glue on there. And that's what I wanted. I wanted to catch anything that may have fallen. It doesn't need to be on the table. So with these boards, front side's usually pretty good. The back side definitely has that bit of drip on it. We want to get that off of our material. So one of the things we can do is we can often here on the back of the vise, it's kind of a cool little trick I've seen and I've gone through recently. With a set of pieces in the back of the vise here, we have this backboard. And then what I do is I'll take my piece and I will lay it out along these lines on the table. These lines, or these holes in the table here, you guys won't be able to see them, but you can set a peg in there and you can butt your board up against it and it's going to hold your board nice and secure. So I'm going to open this up a little bit just so we can get to the next hole, which I can see here. What I'm going to do is we do have pegs for these. I didn't grab this morning, so I'm just going to grab the wood right here to grab it. Into that hole. But so instead of clamping it to the table, you can use it like this. We're going to use scraper. And you may have to apply some pressure to it. So I keep the hand to the back, hand to the front. I set it down flat against my wood. Set it down just like that with a low angle. I'm not going to have a big angle like that. I set it down with a fairly low angle. And I push down and pull straight back towards myself. And I'm going to do that on the glue line. And that's going to help to take the glue off of the seam. And it just scrapes it off because we don't need it there and it doesn't need to go into our saw. So let's do that now. Get to the one end, you find you can't get it all. Switch ends, work from that end towards this end. So if it's nice and clean and sharp, you can see all that junk I've scraped off there. This is all little bits of wood and excess glue. So, glue, wood, throw that in the trash. And a moment ago, I showed you all that glue that was up that seam. Now, there is no glue whatsoever. That's awesome. That's exactly what we want. We don't want any excess glue on there, but we don't want to tip that glue scraper angle. So this glue scraper here has got this edge. Hopefully it focuses a little better. It's sharpened. It will damage your wood. So we want to use this flat. We want this flat against our wood. We don't want to tip on an angle and cut grooves in. It's just not going to give us a nice product. We have to sand it quite a bit to get to scratch this out, which is going to take our overall thickness of our material down. And we want to keep this as thick as possible. We don't want to take anything extra off of So this one, it should go a little quicker. So with this, flat, you're not dipping on it. We're going to take the ouch of those pieces. So I put the on here and push down, get a nice firm pull, and it pops. All that glue off. We don't use all that material for wet glue. Wet glue is going to bind up. Actually, if you do have a whole bunch of wet glue, like we did yesterday, right in place. Just make sure you need to stack your material off to the side. Stand it up so the glue comes straight down. Don't set it sideways so the glue runs across your board. We don't want that. That glue will up towards that. You want to fill with paint or stain. And all those pores and once stain and paint, we apply paint or stain. We're going to have lighter spots that didn't take any color because of glue. So that doesn't give you any finish and it doesn't look very good. I've made that mistake on projects. I kind of pass it on to you and help you. So if you don't have a really nice project and then mess it up, it's going to glue all over your wood. So we're going to take a little off of this. Now, what I want to do is I want to sand these to thickness. I'm going to take a little bit off of them. It's going to clean up the surfaces. As you can see, the light's kind of catching it. Right here, we got a bit of imperfection. Same with here. So we got this board higher than this board here, and then this board is higher than this board right here. That could have been something that happened during the gluing process. It isn't that great. It's kind of something I'm not too happy about, but we may be able to save it. If we don't, then I'm gonna have to create another piece and definitely pay more attention when I'm gluing out next time. So we all make mistakes. I make mistakes continuously. The biggest thing is that we learn from them. If we don't learn from our mistakes, then we are really just wasting our time. So what I'm going to do is I am going to move this camera and we're going to take it over to our thickness sander. And my thickness sander is just over here. Big green machine in the corner. See if I can get a better view of that. Yeah, that's better here. On it. Rubber fingers on that mat help grip your material. Here. We can turn this on independently from the sander. Switch here. Actually, I hold the power button. Put the switch on. That bed will take off. We don't seem to have any power at the moment, which is interesting. Probably because we have a bandsaw plugged in and not the sander. I'm going to double check that. It was unplugged. And now, fingers crossed, this bed is now moving. You can see, there's something on it. It's moving nice and slow. We can change the speed of that bed. Faster, slower. There is a dial on here. I don't like to run it too fast, but I don't like to run it too slow either. I don't want to force material through there faster than it needs to be. It isn't going to sand as nice as it could. This material here is roughly 3/4 of an inch thick. So we have a gauge here on the side that we're going to use for our depth. Now you can't see it from this angle that well, but it's right here. We adjust the height with this handle. Now we can turn this handle up and turn it down, adjusting our overall thickness. What I'm going to do is I am going to set this for 3/4 of an inch. I'm going to turn on the dust collector because this creates a lot of dust. It's taken up through the tube here, goes to our main stack, and to the dust collector in the back of the fabrication shop. All right, so I've got that set. We're going to turn on the dust collector, and then we're going to turn on the sanding option of the tool. We're going to put the bad side of our board, the side that has the imperfections. For the top side, that's going to go first because the way the rollers are set up with this machine, you got a roller here, and a roller here, and it sands on the top. Kind of like how the planer cuts. Kind of like on the planer. Going to the planer. I often do my first cut, I don't take anything off normally, but it tells me that I'm in the zone as far as my thickness. So I'm going to adjust it down, take this a little thinner, and I should hear some sanding for this next round. Sanding now, and you guys sanding. So you may be able to hear me a little better now. What I've done with these boards is I've taken off a lot of the defects on the back side. Don't want to go crazy with it because I don't want to smooth in overall. I know on my one side that I jointed both faces of, it's gonna be really nice. So I actually sanded that once as well. And this is gonna be the top side of our armrest. The underside of our armrest, if we think we're sitting in a chair, our arms out, no one's really gonna see the underside of the armrest. So I'm not gonna take this down all the way. We're gonna get some imperfections here. This is gonna be the top side, and we'll make sure that this is the top side. And we're actually just gonna write that on there. And I'm just gonna put a top on here, circle that. Now it doesn't have to be big. And this is piece H. Since we have sanded off, I'm going to put an H on there. And I'm going to do that for both pieces. So we got this looking good here. Right top. And H. And that is that. So kind of a neat tool here. It does take off a lot of material very quickly if you set it a little deep. So that is one thing. I'd rather take 2 or 3 thin cuts than one really earth sand, than one really deep sand across here that takes off maybe too much material. So this is really good for panels. And when I have pieces glued up together, I call them a panel, even though you may call it something else. I don't know if that's the proper technical term, but gluing up multiple pieces into panels, that's what I just call them. That is pretty much it for today, guys. So a nice quick one today, you know, fun Fridays, short Fridays. I do have a quiz for you. This one's a little more in depth, pretty important one, lots of stuff in here that is really relevant to what we're doing. So take your time on it, really think about the questions, and just be certain before you answer them. We only do get one shot at these quizzes. If people have a lot of trouble, I will make more attempts available. Yes, Junior has a question. You can type it out, Junior, because I can't hear you. With this mic setup, it doesn't allow me feedback from you guys. I'm going to get an additional piece that will allow me to hear you guys, but type your question up, and if you want, you can email it to me. I will answer it and email back to you. Monday, normal time, we're going to do the 8:45. Hopefully everyone's online for that. And what we're going to do Monday is we're going to trace out that template, the armrest H. We're going to trace it out on here. And then we're going to go to the bandsaw and start cutting it on the bandsaw. So that'll be Monday's class. And then Tuesday's class, we will have the legs cut out. So I'll do those off screen, the legs with the arms. And Tuesday's class, and we are going to use an orbital spindle sander, and that is going to help us sand our curves. So I'll kind of explain that a bit. There's going to be big curves on the inside of the arm, and you'll see it once we have the template on here. Yes, there is going to be a quiz every day. It's going to be a short one. I usually give them their 5 questions. Today's is a little bigger, but yeah, that's the way it goes. And then we're also going to maybe use the router, and we're going to use the router to round over the edges and make it quite nice. So we'll do this, and then once we've got the legs and arms completed, we're going to start ripping through the rest of the pieces. And where do we find the quizzes? So we've entered a new unit for this course, Junior, or everybody. We are now in the solid stock construction unit. So in your construction class, you should be able to see 3 different units when you hit your kind of waffle or your quilt up on the top of your D12. And then what you're going to see is solid stock construction. You're going to click on that one. Then you're going to see your resources tab. It's going to be on like your 4 headings below your main title. It's going to be on the right side. So you're going to click on resources. going to give you a drop down with like 6 or 7 options. Hit content. That's what we want to click on. So once you click on content, it's going to refresh your page. It's going to take you to a page with a couple folders on the left-hand side. Now, I think it's the top folder. It might be the second folder. I'm not too sure. It says online classes. Click on that folder. Below that folder, it's going to open up a bunch of other folders, and every folder is going to have a date on it, starting December 1st, December 2nd, December 3rd, December 4th, whatever day it may be. Today is the 4th, I believe. Yes, it is. So what we can do is we'll click on that one. Which course is it? It is solid stock construction under your construction 10. So it'll be solid stock construction. If you guys have the ability to search courses, just type in 2021 construction and hit enter. It'll give you 3 options. It'll just filter all your courses right through to only your construction courses, and it'll be in those 3 courses. That's how I often pull things up quickly on my computer. But I mean, I've got 30 different units from all the different classes I'm teaching, so it's just easier for me. But with going back to those folders, you're going to see the date folder. It's going to say December 4th. You're going to click on it. You're going to see maybe nothing right now, actually, because I haven't released a quiz to you. What I'm going to do is I'm going to release a quiz shortly after I finish this video. Then I'm going to convert this video to a YouTube video and upload it in there as well. So if you need help with the quiz, you can use this video that we're shooting right now to help you with the information on there. So we're trying to make it easy for you. I'm not here to stump anybody. Today's test is pretty important though, so we do need to make sure we get this one done. That is enough for today, guys. I don't want to take up too much of your time. So please drop your name in the chat if you haven't yet. If you have, awesome. That's great. I appreciate it. I'm going to stop the recording here in just a moment. So I just want to say thank you. Please make sure to get that quiz done, and have a great weekend, guys. Get some sleep. Don't stay up to 2 a.m. playing games. Try and just, get yourself into a nice, good rhythm with this. And I will see you all Monday. I hope you have a great weekend, that everyone is happy, healthy, COVID-free, and that we're all doing well in our courses. Okay, thank you, guys. I appreciate it. Have a great day.